like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So do you want me to look at the camera or look at you?
How's that?
Okay. So I'm Luke Thompson. I'm the lead developer on Sublevel Zero. It's a procedural 6 degree of freedom shooter. So if you've ever played games like Descent or Forsaken, you're in a gunship in a zero-G environment, and you can move in all directions and roll and twist. And it's sort of a combat-based game with a retro sci-fi aesthetic.
The first question I had was the game built with the Oculus Rift in mind, or did that come after?
So I'll go back a step to answer that. The game started off in a game jam at Ludum Dare early last year, and just after the game jam, we put Oculus Rift support in, and it worked really well. So when we were polishing up a prototype of the game to show to publishers, we had Oculus Rift support in already, and for this build of the game, from October we've been working on it, and Oculus support was in it from the ground up. So it's kind of designed very much with the Oculus Rift in mind, but also plays just as well without.
Yeah, I've noticed it does play extremely well.
Thank you.
Even without, it's very smooth. The frame rate is really optimized.
We've been really careful to make sure everything is smooth and comfortable, and that's both in VR and in 2D. So a game like this, the movement is incredibly important. So we spend a lot of time tweaking controls, making sure that people can play on any controller, any joystick, any mouse and keyboard, however they like to play. The game will work well, and it'll feel smooth and responsive, and we've had a lot of great feedback on that, and people are really finding that they like the movement, which is great, because this is the first time we've shown this game publicly, and we've been really optimizing the controls and making sure the frame rate is up to scratch and making sure the VR is comfortable and everybody's having a good experience, so it's really good for us.
Yeah, I have to ask, how do you think VR is playing out? What's the future of VR?
It's a good question. I mean, the obvious thing to say is that I'm really excited right now because, you've got Valve bringing stuff out, you've got Sony bringing stuff out, you've got Oculus, you've got OS VR, and probably, others on the horizon as well. I think what's going to happen is you're going to see an increased sort of number of games interested in implementing VR. They're going to be trying out different platforms, and they're going to be trying to do different things with VR. So obviously ours is very much sort of a straight up sort of combat game, whereas I think a lot of the things that Valve is going to be doing will be more sort of interacting with the world, picking up objects and interacting with them in a realistic way. So we're going to see a lot of variation in what people are doing with VR, which is really exciting, and I can't wait to see it. But ultimately, it's going to be the consumer that decides. And obviously, we've not got to that point yet. So I really don't know. I don't know what's going to sell. I don't know what people are going to find out is the best thing for VR. If actually it turns out that everybody uses it for everything, or if it just becomes gaming and nothing else, or if it becomes a social media thing. So that's my way of saying I don't know, but I can't wait to find out.
A big part of VR is also how you control the environment. What does Sublevel Zero support? So
the nice thing about Sublevel Zero is that you are in a spaceship. You're sat in a cockpit, and when you're sat at home playing a game, you're sat down. So actually there is instantly a level of immersion from the fact that your character is doing what you are doing in real life. So people don't have... So with first-person shooters, for instance, there are a lot of design challenges there, sort of, do I shoot where I look? Do I move where I look? If I move my head, does that drag my body around? Is there a sort of a drag factor to that it does it a little bit and it does it more or less? And gamers have to think a bit more about how they're interacting with the game. With something like Sublevel Zero, we're really lucky to be in a position where it's kind of intuitive. You know you're sitting in a cockpit, and you know that the controls you're holding are the controls of the spaceship and not of your body.
Yep.
So that instantly makes things a lot easier for players to just kind of jump in and feel comfortable. And again, we're finding that people are really validating that point of view, that people are finding they feel like they're sitting in a cockpit, and it's very natural for them.
Yeah. Which other VR equipment are you hoping to put sub level 0 out on?
We are looking into a lot of things. I can't say very much right now, but we are looking at a lot of things.
Yeah, I'll be very excited to see it on. Obviously, it's on the Oculus Rift, Project Morpheus. Even though the funny one with the HTC is built.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Well,
we are looking at a lot of things, and we are also excited.
That's brilliant.
So, yeah.
Thank you very much.